Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner Football Fans podcast. On today's podcast, we have Sooner fan Kenny Mason from Yukon, Oklahoma. Kenny gives us the lowdown on what Sooner great he's related to. We talk Kyler Murray and his baseball hopes. We also talk Baker Mayfield to the Browns. And to Rob's delight, we get to talk some Steelers football too. Sooner Football Fans podcast is not associated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility to that. Boomer. Hey, Sooner Football fans. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
And tonight we have our, or today, I'm still not used to that recording and then going back later. We're not live. But on our podcast today, we have another Sooner fan on with us. Kenneth Mason. Now, I should have asked, do you want us to call you Ken or Kenneth?
I go by either. I've actually been called by all three of my names, first, middle, and last. It's a long story.
Okay.
You can just call me. Matter of fact, you just call me Kenny because that's what everybody calls me.
All right. So let's start it off right. Boomer Kenny.
Schooner!
All right. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself. I know you live out in Yukon. Tell us what Kenny does other than be a football or a Sooner fanatic.
I work in television. I work at the local Fox facility here in Oklahoma City. I work over in traffic. It's kind of a hard job to describe a little bit. My specific job is I'm responsible for making sure the commercials air right. That's as simple as it's going to get.
Okay.
Sounds complicated to me.
If I get too detailed, yeah. If I get too detailed, people be like, "Okay, what?" So I just try to keep it, pretty straightforward. But yeah, I've been working there for about 6 years, and I've actually been living here. It'll actually be about 9-10 years, either sometime later this year or next year, because I'm originally from Tulsa.
Okay.
Tulsa area and everything. So born and raised there, went to high school there and stuff. So, but I went to college at the University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond. So I've been out of college for about 6 or 7 years now. But yeah, that's what I do for a living. I enjoy talking sports just about with anybody, especially my wife, which she's not like a huge sports fan like I am, but for the most part, she'll listen to me talk, especially like if it's after OU game or something and I'm upset or whatever, she'll listen to me then. But that's that.
So she's keeping her vows by letting you release your anger on the Sooners or your happiness. So that's part
absolutely. Absolutely. Matter of fact, she's even recorded me a few times. Like if there's especially I think I'm trying to think what game it was. I want to say it was 2013 Bedlam. I think it was in Stillwater. That was the year we had Trevor Knight, Blake Bell, and then of course Kendall Thompson when he was there. I think they all played in that game, if I'm not mistaken. And that was one of those games where you just like, well, if we go out here and win, great. Not, here's what it is. And I was so excited because I got so much, mess from just OSU fans that I know. Just man, we're gonna just crush you guys. I'm so excited. I'm gonna let y'all have y'all fun right now because because if we win on Saturday, it's a wrap. I don't even want to hear it, but anyway, so that's what those rivalry games is. Just enjoy. Like if you come out on top, you got bragging rights for a year or however long. Well, with OSU, I mean, we've been having bragging rights for 2 years, so it's
forever.
That forever. That rivalry is so lopsided, man. It's I mean, it ain't even a rivalry. It's just a butt kicking. But that's another story.
Yeah, and we hear it every year from the Polk fans is this year I've heard that I'm 51 years old and I've heard that my whole life.
I almost feel sorry for them. Almost.
I don't. It's their choice.
I said almost.
But now, you said you've been a Sooner fan since you were 10 years old. So how old are you?
I'm 30.
30
years old.
So okay,
yeah, I've been one.
You put your and your favorite Sooner is Billy Sims. You're kind of young to have a favorite Sooner is Billy Sims.
Must watch a lot of YouTube.
I've got plenty of them, but he's just one because I met him in person and I can't remember where we were. I think we was in Tulsa at a mall. He was at a mall up there. And I met him in person, and we were just talking, and he just telling me about his old stories that we was playing at OU and everything like that. So, and then of course YouTube and everything as well. But he's just dude's just a really good guy. I eat his food a lot. Billy Sims barbecue a lot.
Yeah.
I try not to go too crazy, but sometimes, man, if it's right in distance, I'm like, man, I gotta go get some because it's really good food. But anyway, he's one of my favorite Sooners. And then I don't know. I didn't put this down because I wanted to kind of talk about this, but my wife's brother is Damon Parker. I don't know if y'all remember him. Yeah, I'm dead serious. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. When we first got together, we first started dating, and she told me about her brothers or whatever. Told me, yeah, I got a brother that plays. What's his name? His name was DeMar Park. I said, what?
Girl, we're going to start dating right now.
Right. I was like, seriously? So, yeah. I was like, I was like, wow, I think he left right after either right when Bob Stoops started.
Right.
There, if I'm not mistaken. I think he left because I think he declared him for the draft. But I said, man, it's unfortunate he didn't play when Stoops was coaching. But I said, when I found that out, like, just crazy. I was like, man, you got to give me, an autograph or something, just for the sake of saying. But anyway, that's a little tidbit. I didn't put that down, but
Man.
I always tell people that I'm like, oh, just FYI.
Damon had real potential.
Yeah,
I'm like
Damon, like Rob said, he had potential.
Oh man, he was good.
Now, did he play at all with Stoops, or was he all Blake?
He was all Blake.
Yeah.
He didn't play with Stoops. He left the year. He left that. I want to say whenever he declared. And Stoops got hired in December. That's when he left. So he didn't play at all.
That's a shame because we had him, and then with that group with the Blake crew and Kelly Gregg.
Yes.
That some really, really, really good players that just wasn't fair to them. You know what I mean? That they.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Whatever the problem was. Back then, whether it was coaching or which obviously that was the problem, but it was he had some great guys on that team.
Hey, wasn't it Damon?
Oh yeah.
In that OU Texas game that he just would not go down. We wound up tying them that year. We were 0-5 going into that game. I think wasn't that Damon?
Yeah, that was him. He I don't know if he went for the record in that game, but he guy. I think it's still on YouTube if you want to watch it, but. He tore it up. I said,
he went
my
beast mode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was impressive. They could not bring him down.
No, they couldn't.
So, how often do you see him now that you're married?
Well, I mean, I've never actually met him because the way, because my wife's side of her dad's side, because that's who it's on. She's not like she's kind of close to him, but she's not really close to her brothers like that, like she is with her mom's side, obviously. Do some personal stuff, but for the most part, she talks to him every now and then. But I haven't actually met him in person. I mean, I've always wanted to, just because, especially when I found that out. But I just just the instant reaction and everything like that. But I just haven't had a chance to.
So you're still waiting on that Thanksgiving dinner invite and that hey, well, Damon's gonna be there. You're gonna be like, yes, we're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Won't stop asking either, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not related to anybody who is famous like that. Are you, Rob?
No.
Well, now this is something that probably people don't realize about Rob, though, is Rob's last name is Mixon. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, my son is
Joe.
Joe.
That's pretty interesting.
And some buddies of mine down in McAllister is where I'm originally from. I can't remember. It was last year or a couple of years ago. I'd put on. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'd put on Facebook that we were all at Buffalo Wild Wings. We go there every Thursday night, and I tagged Rob in it, and they were like, oh, you're hanging out with a Mixon, huh? And I was like, yeah, it's his dad. And they were like, really? And then Rob posted something on, Rob had posted something on it. It was like, y'all got something to say about it or what?
So you need to understand something, Kenneth. I'm about as white as I can be, okay? I can't even snap my fingers in rhythm. All right, so...
But
yeah, I would have went the distance with that for sure.
I used to have some fun with it, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, because it just said Rob Mixon, and they're like, oh, you're hanging out with the OU Mixons, huh? And then like we just carried it for a little bit, and I had to send him a message. I was like, dude, we were just kidding, He's like, I thought I upset him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, life's worth living. You gotta have fun, man.
So, how often do you go to the home games, or do you go to any games, or you one like me? I prefer to kind of watch them on TV, but I will go.
I didn't actually start going to the home games really until I graduated high school. Because they just we were just so far from Tulsa, and I was poor as heck back then. So, I watched all the games on TV. At least the ones that they aired. But of course now every game is on TV, no matter what. Yeah. You can stream it, I mean everything. But the first home game I went to, 2006 versus Middle Tennessee State. Adrian Peterson was still there. I think that was his last year. I think it was his junior year, if I'm not mistaken. And went there, and it was tickets were fairly cheap, so me and my wife went, and that was my first experience going there. And when I first heard the Boomer Sooner chant, the whole entire bar, I said, "Wow, this is amazing."
Yeah, it gives you chills when they really get it going that loud.
Oh, absolutely. And that was my very first one, and I've been to several since then, really. And I've actually been to a Bedlam game, but it wasn't in Norman. It was in Stillwater, and wow.
How was that?
That's all I got to say. Wow.
Oh, man.
I was with a buddy of mine. I don't know if y'all seen him on Facebook. He's avid OU fan. His name is Bill Coffin. He got tickets to that game, and he took me with him because he's like, "Hey, you want to go to a Bedlam game in Stillwater?" Why not? Rivalry game is what it is. I think we're going to win anyway. So we went there, and he was dressed up as Santa Claus. Yeah.
Like I said, you gotta live that life, man.
Right. So he was dressed up as Santa Claus, and it was just funny. We just did it as a joke and everything like that, and we made some posters because I think if they won that game, they would have clinched to play against Nebraska in the Big 12 championship game. So we had made a bunch of posters and stuff like that, so we could hang up and just try to get on TV or whatever. And where our seats were, we were in a sea full of orange. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
I think there was maybe a couple OU fans in front of us, maybe some behind us, but really, dude, everybody, it was a sea full of orange. And I was like, man, dude, if we lose this game, it could be a nightmare getting out of here. That's how crazy it was. And you talk about, man, I don't know. That's to say I'm probably going back up there again. But anyway,
yeah, I wouldn't mind catching a Bedlam game up there.
I've been up there. It wasn't Bedlam though.
Yeah, I've been to high school games there, but I would love to go there in Bedlam and just be in the brightest red I could be.
Oh, absolutely. And especially now, since they just think that they are just the best thing since sliced bread. We have to hear it every year, and they just have to keep giving them, more ass kickings and stuff. So it's just like, okay, dude. But anyway, but yeah. So for the most part, that game was super fun. I know we were leading most of the time, and they started making a comeback, and I was like, all right, man, it could get a little dicey here, but we ended up pulling out. So that experience itself was really, really cool. Even though I got some stuff thrown at me, but it is what it is.
Well, if you get stuff thrown at you at an away game, you've done something right. So
that's what I was thinking. I said, well, I got to be doing something right.
Yeah. So I mean, if you get it thrown, that's how you got to judge that. If when it's done, they hate you even more. You did your job.
Right, exactly. So I mean, it was real cool. That was probably one of the best experience away games that I've really had. Because I don't really go to a lot of away OU games. unless I get tickets somehow or somebody wants to go. But for the most part, that's really my only away game that I've been to. But all the ones have been in Norman and stuff. And I went to that. There was another game, TCU game, just a couple of years ago, where I think that was the game Baker got hurt, where he had a concussion.
Got the concussion in the first half.
Yeah. I was lit in the first half, really the majority of the game. But I was like, man, this is great, because we had a lead and everything, and then of course he gets hurt. And I didn't realize he got hurt.
Yeah.
Until I saw Sherman Knight come on the field. I'm like, why is he out there? And I got on my phone, and they said, Basil's got a concussion. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. So I was like, all right, well, let's just try to, get something going
that game almost gave me a heart attack. So
yeah, exactly. And so I was sitting there like, what's let's just try to get out of here, with the win or whatever. Because I think we had a somewhat comfortable lead, and the next, it got real close there, and I'm like, all right, now I'm really getting scared, because that was probably one of the few times where I felt like we were going to blow it. I mean, just really, really bad. And I was like, man, we can't lose this game, because we're right there, from really taking off. So that was another memorable game. But I've got some other ones, but those are two that just really stick out, just because the magnitude of the game, the importance of it, championship implications on the line and stuff. So those are some really good memories.
Yeah. Well, you brought up the Boomer Sooner, the first time you heard it, in the crowd. The weirdest thing I ever had happen to me with Boomer Sooner was, gosh, it's been probably 12, 13 years ago. My wife and I and our youngest son, Caleb, were at Universal Studios down in Florida. And we were wearing OU shirts, me and my wife were. And we were just walking, I don't know where we're at. We're walking to get on a ride somewhere. And you know how you notice something out of the corner of your eye, that you don't really look at it, but you see it. And I could see this figure running at me. Okay. And I'm not looking, but I notice it. And when I finally look, I turn around, and it's this big dude in a Michigan shirt. Okay. And he gets right in my face and goes, "Boomer!" And I yelled back, "Sooner!" And he was like, "Dude, I have always wanted to do that to a Sooner fan. That is so awesome."
That is great.
And he's awesome. A Michigan. He goes, "I'm a Michigan fan." He goes, "I saw you. I had to come running over here." And I thought, man, I hope he yells it back. I didn't want to look stupid. And I said, well, man, I didn't know if I needed to turn around and punch you or tackle you, because you just come running at me.
Oh, absolutely.
But he thought that he had seen it. He goes, I always wondered if I would yell it at a Sooner fan, if they would yell. And my wife yelled it back too. She was standing behind me, but he was like, "Man, I always wanted to do that."
Who don't, right? Yeah. I mean, come on, everybody wants to yell Boomer Sooner.
Oh, exactly. And I was telling somebody, I was like, man, the OU brand, I mean, it carries a lot of weight. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Even I've been to Orlando a couple times, and I'll just have my OU shirt on, and I'll see other people and go, Boomer Sooner and so forth. And so it's just like, when you see OU fans everywhere from coast to coast, it's just like, man, the brand is really, really big, especially now.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it hasn't always been big, but it's just bigger now, especially with the exposure, with Baker going number one in the draft last week. I don't know if I put down who my favorite NFL team was. It's not the Browns. That's why.
Who is it?
Unfortunately, it's Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's playing in the exact same division.
Rob just rolled his eyes, because I'm a huge Steeler fan too. So.
Yes, sir.
And he's a Cowboy fan. So
listen, he dropped that pass, and y'all know it. This just in: Oklahoma baseball leads Kansas State 4-0.
Well, that's good. What about softball?
Haven't got an update on them lately.
It's 3-1.
3-1.
Is my girl Jocelyn Alo hit any home runs yet?
What's her name, Rob?
Jocelyn Alo.
Has she hit any home runs yet?
No, she hadn't.
No, she hasn't.
No. On the Baker thing, because I was praying that he didn't go to the Browns, because I hate the Browns. And then here's the deal with us, Sooner Steeler fans, is not only that, but Andrews.
That's not a thing.
Exactly.
Andrews and Orlando Brown go to the Ravens, the other team I hate. And then what the hell? We pick Rudolph, which I don't know why we need a third backup quarterback.
I got
but
two Aggies. Two Aggies.
I don't know if you heard the comments from Big Ben today about that.
What?
He was very, very candid about it. Basically saying he doesn't understand why he drafted him. And it was like nothing against Rudolph. He said he thought he was a good quarterback, but he said he didn't understand why they drafted him because they still have injuries and they got
Dobbs.
Got that Dobbs kid from Tennessee.
So now
he was like, because he's like, I don't understand why we drafted the guy.
we got three backup quarterbacks. Now the Washington pick I liked. Okay.
Right.
Even though he's an Aggie, I I like the pick.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But
for the sake of the NFL's sake, I thought that was. I mean, I didn't think he was going to drop that far, and when they took him, I said, "Well, that's great," because we traded Martavius Bryant to the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
So I mean, I figured they had to be.
So you knew they were going after a receiver when that happened. When I got that alert on my phone, I was like, "Well, they're gonna draft somebody. They got their eyeball on somebody." Because
absolutely,
I'm telling you, man, you know, Rob's now sitting here giving me the eye of, are we really talking Steeler football?
I'm about to fall asleep.
But dude, with Juju and with Antonio, and you throw Washington in the mix, and you got the tight end Jesse James. Yeah. And you know that's good. I mean, good Lord, and you talk about a crew.
So
I mean, you got some weapons at his disposal for sure. You got some really good weapons. Let's just make sure we don't have to deal with the New England shenanigans again.
So I never thought I would say this or these words would come out of my mouth, but let's talk about Cleveland Browns football.
Well, why not? I mean, I'll tell you this though. I mean, I hope, except when he plays us, I hope that he does at least, do something with Cleveland, just to kind of,
Okay, I'm gonna play
silence the haters.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a minute here. So what can Baker do physically that Tyrod Taylor can't do better?
I don't think anything.
I don't either.
And
nothing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Baker's
and we love Baker, and we all love Baker.
We love Baker, and Baker's accurate. Baker's smart, and he's quick, and but Tyrod is quicker. And I'm sure he's got just as strong as arm. He's got experience.
Yeah.
Baker's probably not. I thought about this for a while. Baker's not going to supplant him as the starter.
No.
No.
At least not in the first year.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a deal, if stuff doesn't start getting done. But my whole thing with Baker to the Browns is it's a terrible organization. I mean, I went to the draft last week, okay, and I talked to a bunch of Browns fans, and that was what they all said. It was if our owners don't screw it up, but they have a tendency to do that. They've got a good coach now, and all this stuff, but they said, somehow these guys are going to screw it up if they don't screw it up. And that's my worry is he's just part of an organization that has been floundering for, since about 2005. I mean, hell, like I said, they had Belichick as a coach in the 90s and, and he couldn't turn it around. But yeah, I hope he does well. I mean, we all do. I hope he does well. But I also hope that, TJ Watt comes around the end when he's playing the Steelers and just shellacks him if he's in.
That's blasphemous, Terry.
It is what it is.
That is blasphemous, sir. I'm going to need you to take that back.
I mean, it's, and people are, and I get it. I mean, everybody loved Baker. I get it. But everybody running out buying the Browns jerseys. I have never bought a team's jersey that wasn't mine. And you have to earn me buying your jersey. I just don't buy jerseys. Okay, it's if I want it.
Okay, so confessions. If we're gonna have them, I would buy Earl Campbell. I know he went to Texas, but I'm telling you, I grew up watching Earl before I knew there was a rivalry between OU and Texas. So I would definitely buy Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
Earl Campbell,
Not a Texas.
God no. Oh, Lord help me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but outside of just a few, old timers, like I would buy a Walter Payton jersey probably.
Yeah.
Mike Singletary, some of those guys I would definitely. But yeah, I mean, Baker would have to really earn me.
Yeah.
Browns
Well, and seeing that's like
Yeah, I mean,
Tattoo Baker sent me a deal on. Somebody posted the jersey up, and I said that's a lot of orange. And Tattoo Baker sent me a thing on there, and he said, "Have you got your Rudolph jersey yet? Your Pokes Rudolph jersey yet?" And I said no, but it damn sure won't have orange on it.
it sure won't.
Yeah, when I get it, it won't have any orange.
No sir.
But no, I mean,
I'm going to jail and not going hunting. So.
But I'm with Rob though. I mean, we've talked about it, not on the podcast. It's like, what's he going to do? I mean, they've got, a solid quarterback. It's going to make them both work harder.
They've got a solid backup too.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but I mean, what did he end up getting altogether? 50-something million with the signing bonus and his 4-year guaranteed contract.
I think he got 32 million of that guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 32 million.
It's somewhere around there. Yeah.
And it was something like a 30 million, I think, signing bonus. So he walked in and signed a piece of paper and walked out with a $30 million check.
Man, must be nice.
So, yeah, I wasn't too, thrilled. I'm glad he was. It's good for him. It's good for the university that he was the first pick. Keeps everybody talking about OU football, which is what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps these guys like, Spencer Rattler and all these other quarterbacks who are looking there, they're going, look what we just did with this one, And
no, exactly. I mean, it gives Lincoln Riley, and especially with him being at the draft, I thought that was another good recruiting tool. It basically gives him, basically gives him ammunition when he goes out and recruits and tells these guys, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what you could be in the future. Instead of guys, instead of that salesman down there in Austin, that's just, telling people fool's gold for all we know.
And kissing them.
And kissing them. Yeah, that too. And then, and then they're just ripping off, 6-6 or 5-7 seasons.
They lost to Kansas, by the way.
And they also lost to Kansas. You can't forget that.
Yeah.
They are never going to live that down. I'm sorry.
No, and I mean, and their response. The funny thing about that was their response to losing to Kansas after it was like they lost the national championship game. There were guys sitting on the field crying. I mean,
it's like the crying game out there.
It was so funny. I mean, I sat there and watched it. I was like, this is too funny.
Yeah, and I honestly I cannot see how that can happen. How it could. If Texas just with their athletes,
yes,
should be able to go out and beat that team without, I mean,
well, exactly.
How did OSU lose to a D2 team?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
but it just that was one of the greatest moments in Texas football history. I think was losing to Kansas, and what was the coach that used to be there from OU? The big guy. Offensive coordinator.
For Texas?
Jay Norville.
No, for OU that coached at Kansas.
Oh, Mangino.
Yeah, Mangino. When they got screwed at home, and remember he was dollar bills. It's
right.
dollar signs. They
you gotta love Mangino, right?
It was like they screwed us out of the game because Texas is a bigger crawl. It's all about dollar signs.
Betcha.
They didn't want Kansas. They didn't want Kansas knocking them out. So he was a firm believer that they got the screw job put on them.
Me too.
Me too. Yeah. But
I mean, that pass was clearly out. I mean, after the clock was
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. They got him.
Yeah. It was kind of like the same thing as the fifth down play with there was Colorado and Nebraska.
Oh my goodness!
Did you I'm trying to think. Would you be old enough to have remembered that or seen it? The 5th down play.
I mean, I've just seen it. I've seen it on not like I don't remember watching the game, but I've just seen it on TV.
Yeah, I mean,
talking about like controversial calls. And stuff,
the announcers were talking about that one. They were like, that was 4th down, and they kept going out. And I'm like, why isn't the Nebraska coach then? It wasn't Osborne. It was the other one. Why aren't you running out on the field? You know, no, it wasn't Nebraska. It was Missouri. It was Missouri. Why wasn't the Missouri coach going out there onto the field?
I miss Colorado.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I miss the old Big 12 team. There's no, it's not the same. Not having Colorado and Nebraska.
Nebraska game was a huge rivalry.
Oh yeah, it was, and that was
I
always
that they went away.
Yeah, that was one of the fun. You know, and we can thank Texas for that. They all went away because of Texas. Texas was
and that infamous Longhorn Network.
Yeah, the Longhorn Network.
I was telling somebody the other day. I said, you know what? I said, ever since they got that network, every single maybe I don't know, maybe outside of baseball, I don't know, but it seems like all their sports have just, I think.
They start going down. They're going downhill.
They started going. They just started going downhill ever since they got that network.
Yeah.
And it's just been. I mean, it's funny, but in hindsight, I mean, it hurt the Big 12 because it's like, well, now you lost Nebraska, you lost Missouri, you lost Texas A&M for what it's worth with them, but we had a really, really strong conference, so that way, like, I think the year that there was a whole controversy between us and Texas as far as the BCS, whenever it happened and everything like that, we had a strong conference, but we also had a better, non-conference deal. We ended up getting in, but the bottom line is like now, we have to go undefeated, or we have to, blow people out, because if we take a loss somewhere, people will be hard pressed not to try to put us back in for sure. Oh, well, OU's got this horrible, like this year with Iowa State. They just couldn't stop talking about it. And of course, we blew everybody else out after that. But bottom line is if you have a strong conference, that really helps, when it comes time for debate and discussion, especially just watching and seeing and stuff, because it's like, when they talk about the Big 12 now, man, that conference doesn't play defense at all.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just nothing but 7-on-7 or whatever. It's like, well, okay, you stick in Alabama or Georgia or whoever, you stick them in the conference for a year and see if they can stop these offenses every single week, just consistently. I'm not saying that they can't do it at all, but let's just see if they can do it consistently.
Look what Missouri and A&M did when they left the Big 12 and went to the SEC. Missouri was in the SEC championship game twice.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
They're in the middle of the pack here,
and they were middle of the pack with the Big 12. But
exactly.
I get ticked off with the conference talk. The Big 12 is where you look at it's Oklahoma and TCU now, and Texas kind of up there. Every conference is like that. I mean, who? Okay, we got SEC, Alabama, and Georgia. Who else is any good?
Really.
I mean, there's nobody else that much better than anybody in the Big 12. You got the ACC. You got Clemson. Florida State was terrible this year.
Oh my gosh, goodness.
But I mean, they keep throwing that. It's a terrible conference, but yet. It is, but the other conferences are the same. You get past the top. Get past the top 2 or 3. They're good football teams.
Well, you said Oklahoma, TCU, but we are carrying this conference.
Oh yeah,
we have been for a long time.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, everybody knows that for sure. I mean, OU's been carrying the conference. But yeah, I agree, man. I mean, it's kind of what it reminds me of what Bob Stoops said a few years ago. About the SEC.
Yeah.
Of course, got those people over there all upset, up in arms. It's just like, what's the truth? I mean, you got Alabama, of course. Now you got Georgia, and then you got
everybody else.
Yeah, I mean,
and one of them's going to be a little bit better than one year than the other one, but it's the same. It's the same. Now, what was our bowl record this year with the Big 12? Did we end up? I don't remember what it was. I know the year before last it was a winning record against. And then look what we did to Auburn in the Sugar Bowl,
Yeah, exactly.
That was just a woodshed beating. And, we hate bringing it up, but the Rose Bowl should have been too.
Well,
you
right.
hang that many points on anybody, you should win the game. That's
exactly.
all I'm going to say about it.
Leave that
Yeah,
right there.
I know a lot of people don't want to reopen old wounds. I mean, I don't really talk about it at all. If somebody brings it up, I'm like, look, it is what it is. I'm not going to, try to go, dig deep down and if somebody lost or whatever else. Because I mean, we could go around the circles all day, but I'm with you. I mean, that you hang that many points on somebody, you should win the game.
Right, and especially,
period. So
especially when we were up, as much as we were at halftime. I mean but
yeah. I mean, they had it. I mean, we're talking about a national title elite offense.
Right.
That's how good they were. And of course, we saw how it played out. It just. I was telling my wife, I said, it makes me sick to my stomach when you see stuff like that. It's just mind-boggling. But here we are.
Yeah.
But
I still think we're going to have a national championship style type offense this year. I really do. I don't think there's going to be a drop off. Well, there shouldn't be a drop off. The talent's still there.
Right. I mean, you still got the running backs. You still got the receivers coming back. I mean, of course, mine is Mark Andrews, of course.
Right.
But I mean, they've got a lot of talent coming back, and on top of that, everybody's like, well, we'll have to see how Kyler Murray is, see if he can throw the football and stuff. It's like, you watch his high school film and then come holler at me.
Yeah, he can throw the football. What you mean
about that? It's like just go watch his high school film and then you come talk to me. And then I'll watch. I'm like, man, that guy's really good. I said, okay. I mean,
but again, playing devil's advocate, I'm going to play devil's advocate this time. Me and we talked about this on one. If you're Kyler Murray, and they draft you number 36 in the baseball draft in June, and you get a $1.5 million signing bonus, do you stay at OU? Or do you take that $1.5 million and go to Florida and start playing baseball in the minors? Remember, you're 21 years old.
Yeah, I have to think about that too. Yeah.
I mean, that's what scares me about him.
Man, there's nothing to think about.
There's nothing.
Yeah, there's really, in that case, I mean, there's really nothing to really think about there.
Because that's what they're saying. They're saying he's going to be around the 36th. And, that sounds far back, but apparently in baseball, that's like the third pick in the NFL. I don't know how the baseball – I know they draft a ton of people, but they say that the 36th pick is a high draft pick.
Well, it depends on where he goes because if he's going to a team that needs an outfielder, he may not go to the minors.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he's going to make more than that 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be in the majors in no time, but, yeah, wow.
So what would you do 20 years old?
What would I do?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer decision, of course, to do it. But at the same time, and here's where I'll come back with it is going into college. You got to kind of figure out: do you want to play baseball or do you want to play, football?
Right.
Like which one is takes priority? And I think with him, I mean, if he's really wants to play baseball, dude, you go for it. I'm all for people that that want to make money and try to maximize as much as they can and stuff. So if he gets drafted, and especially like y'all were saying, he's not going to probably be in the minors that long, and he's probably going to end up going to the majors here soon. Then I mean, you got to take it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, with the way OU is recruiting that quarterback now, I'm not saying that that the guys behind them are just going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but they've got some guys coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Tanner Mordecai, the guy that they're bringing in, a lot of people are not talking about him, but the guy was turning up last year, and he was doing it in, I want to say they were in 5A. It wasn't no scrub, league in Texas. He was turning it up in one of the, high levels that he was in. So I think he's kind of one of those guys we got to look out for too. But I mean, if I'm Kyler Murray, man, I mean that, you almost have to take that opportunity and go with it.
Yeah, I mean
especially if you know that you probably going to have a better career in the baseball or in baseball. I mean, I go for it.
Yeah, and some I've heard other people comment, well, he could still sign and stay through the football season and then he'll go into the minors the next year. I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Why would you do that? I mean, if you sign, why take a chance of getting hurt? Or they're going to go.
Yeah, I was just
if
getting
you
ready to say that.
if
Yeah.
you sign, you don't play football no more. You become the property of whoever he signs with, and they say no, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to play football. To me, like you said, like Rob said, it's a no-brainer. Somebody
Yeah.
if you go with the talent that you got, and if his talent is in baseball, and they say you're the 36th pick.
Well, there's a caveat here. I think, if his family has plenty of money and he's never wondered where he's going to get his next, bill money or anything like that, that might be a little different.
Yeah,
But
Mm-hmm.
most
not
people
for
are.
me.
Most people are just.
I'd be how much 1.5 million.
1 point something. Okay, I'm out.
Well, think about it like this: what if his dad has got 1.5 million in his front pocket?
Well, yeah,
I mean, that's 1.5 didn't mean anything to you. Then.
yeah, but
Right.
maybe that's the case. I don't know. I mean, but
I don't know either. I don't know what he's.
Yeah, but still, I mean, his future past college is going to be baseball. I think
Mhm.
everybody agrees with that. You know what I mean? It's not.
He's good. There
Yeah,
ain't no doubt.
he's a great baseball player. He's a great football player. Well,
He's definitely a great football.
yeah,
player.
he's from what we've seen, he's a great football player.
And you know something? He'd be
Mhm.
good at track.
Yeah.
There's probably
Yeah,
nothing
he's
this kid ain't
got
good at.
speed, Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's got speed,
I mean, but you got to think that he has to look long term. Is he's not going to play in the NFL? It's just
Mhm.
it's not going to happen. So, but he's got all these guys sitting back going, you are going to play in the major leagues. So that's something I think Sooner fans need to really be thinking about and preparing for, because it's a very good possibility he may not even be in the mix come fall ball, come camp. But I think Austin Kendall, he at the spring game, I was really happy with it. I mean, he's obviously not the speed, but he can still move. I mean, the first play they ran was a zone read, and he trotted it right down the field. So,
and on top of that, he's I don't know, people should forget that he was the backup quarterback. Just like not last year, but year prior. So it's not like he doesn't have no experience at all. I mean, he's played in some games, and I think that having that redshirt year this past year, it's just only going to help him out going forward. So in the event that we don't see Kyler Murray at all this upcoming season, we've got Austin Kittle coming in. He's got some experience and stuff. I mean, of course, you won't do your highs and lows, but it's not like he doesn't have any weapons around him. I mean, we just talked about how many weapons this guy's going to be surrounded with, as we go. So, and then of course, the offensive line, we've got some pieces there too. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because I mean, when y'all brought up the Kyler Murray dynamic and stuff, I didn't really think about the baseball stuff. And now I got something to talk about with a buddy of mine that he's he's into baseball and stuff too. I'm like, hey, what you think about this? And I'd ask him this
yeah,
stuff. So I mean,
I knew he was good at baseball, and I knew that's where everybody was talking about where he was going. But this dropped about what, Rob, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
that they said that he's being predicted in the NFL draft. I mean, NFL Major League draft at 36, and I was like, whoa. And that's when you're in that area, you're in the money.
Yes.
And then, like I said, even if he goes to the minors, they always send him down to Florida, so you get to live in Florida for a year and and play baseball, for crying out loud. Talk about a good life.
Well, I mean, you don't have a.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah,
you don't have a 6'5", 300-pound defensive end trying to rip your head off. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you bat once every 9 times. Stand out in the outfield.
Let's see, that guy over there wants to kill me, or.
I mean, it sounds like a good job to me.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
But it would be, and it's what's funny. That's all, it's every, almost every kid's childhood dream, is to make it to, some level like that. And I couldn't imagine, having that type of opportunity. I mean, it would just flabbergasted me. And we had Brandon on. They're recruiting these kids and getting commits in the sophomore and junior year. I'm like, man, that is a lot of pressure on these kids and their families to make that decision that early on. Because back in the day, you didn't make that decision until decision day. Your senior year was when everybody was courting you. Now, I mean, hell, I think there's some basketball teams that are offering kids in the 7th grade now.
So. Exactly.
But it would be a neat problem to have. Kyler does have a unique set that, and he's going to have to make a decision. And, selfishly, we want it to benefit us, but it really needs to benefit him. I mean, he needs to be the one to make that, just like Baker. I didn't want him to go to the Browns. I still don't want him at the Browns, but, hey, he's got the opportunity. I hope he does. I hope he runs with it and does well. Like you said, every game except 2 a year. That's all I care about.
Exactly.
Okay. This time in the podcast, Kenny's wife called him. So he had to put us off, hang up on us, call her back, and then he called us back. Me and Rob were sitting here watching the OU-OSU softball game at that point in time. But while you wait, we're going to let you listen to Trey Sermon ice the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
First down, Oklahoma, and even more. Sermon, still on the move. Sermon to the corner. Touchdown, Sooners, 53 yards.
Okay, so after that's all said and done, we kind of stumble around and get back started. You talked about, we talked about OSU fans earlier, and we always ask everybody, and we're watching an OSU softball game. We got the game on now. But can a Sooner fan cheer for OSU, or can a Sooner fan be a fan of OSU too?
Oh, man.
Okay, we'll just help you out. No, okay? It's not.
I'm only saying that because unless, I mean, even if my wife was, she's not, just by the way. Even if she was an OSU fan, I couldn't do it. I'm like, nah, man,
nope.
We're just going to be a house spot. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, especially if I can't be a Texas fan, I can't be an OSU fan.
Yeah. No, I just, I just can't do it. I not, we've talked about it before. There's people out there. I've got friends out there. Well, if they're not playing OU, I'm cheering for them. My mom's that way, and I'm like, my mom, bless her heart, she's 80 years old. I'm like, I'm not doing it, Mom.
So we can give girls a buy on that kind of stuff because they don't know what they're doing anyway. Just joking for you girls that may be listening out there.
But anyway, what as far as the drafts, did the NFL draft, did anything surprise you with what happened with the Sooners in the draft? Or let me did Dimitri Flowers not getting drafted?
That was a surprise.
Really?
I was just getting ready to say that. I was surprised he drafted because, I realized the fullback position is, it's
going
I
away.
realize some teams, it's gone away some, but for somebody with his skill set, and he showcased it, every year that he was at OU, I didn't, and he had a good Senior Bowl too, and I was like, this guy goes undrafted? Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess he's going to take Tony Jefferson route and make a team and show him that he should have got drafted, but I was surprised he didn't get drafted at all. I mean, that was weird.
Yeah, but any more about the only team that really uses a fullback is the Packers. I know they still do, and
because they got
the Buccaneers do.
Buccaneers, yeah.
Who's the OU player they got up at Green Bay?
Aaron
Ripkowski.
Ripkowski. Yes.
One of the best football names ever. He I know, and he's been playing well for them. I've watched a couple of games that he's done good in. But
they let John Kuhn go about 2-3 years ago, or I don't know how long it's been, but they let him go and Rip is he's been stepping in and playing well. So every time the Packers come on and I'm watching and he's out there, I'm like, man, he made the team. I think he actually did he end up getting drafted? I want to say he was probably maybe a late round.
Yeah, I think he was a late Ripkowski was a late pick. I mean, it was real late, but he wasn't a free agent.
Okay, good,
but,
good
you
deal.
know, it did, but it didn't surprise me about Dimitri because you know, me and Rob talked about it on our post draft deal that just like what we just talked about, it's just not a position really anymore in the NFL, which to me is sad. But you know, everybody's going spread out, and you know, and they're just not utilizing that in the position anymore.
Man, I still think those guys they have got worth. They're strong. They're faster than linemen. You know, smart. I mean, fullbacks. I was a fullback. So,
long time ago, though.
Last week.
We're not talking about, you know, PS2 or, you know, Xbox. Yeah, but yeah, and I'm with you, Rob. They have worth, and just what they do. I mean, they're the grunts. You'd think they'd, you know, if nothing else, put them back there in a split back, and you know, on a zone read or something, and just be the lead blocker to go do something.
Yeah, man, they are literally that blocker. I mean, they pick up, especially for the running backs, and they open up those holes. So it's just like, for that position to be, you know, almost non-existent in the NFL, it's just, you know, like you said, it's crazy. And then of course, because everybody's going out to the spread and stuff, and that kind of leads me into the whole. I don't know if y'all saw that. I'm pretty sure you saw it, that, you know, NFL teams are asking Lincoln Riley about his offense and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, you know, if that doesn't kind of tell you where he did it, then I don't know what.
Yeah, and he still uses a fullback, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in the red zone. I mean, they drop, you know, get down in there in the red zone, they start using that fullback. So
yeah.
Just
and he runs the football.
Kendall Murray just had an infield single. That's how fast he is. Right?
Yeah.
Hit it to the pitcher, and he can't throw him out or whatever.
Is that where he hit it to the pitcher? Okay.
It just says infield. I don't know where he hit it.
Yeah, I mean, I've caught one game. Rob catches a bunch of the baseball games, and it's pretty phenomenal when that guy hits the ball. I mean, boy, you know, if he hits a double, if he would hit a double, what would be a double for most people is like a triple for that guy. He is that fast. He's
fast. Yeah, he's fast.
And even I was watching, you know, they got throttled last weekend on by the Pokes up in Tulsa. But even the I was watching them for some reason. It was the Cowboys commentators on the game I was watching. We were talking about his speed, and that, you know, they were saying the same thing. You know, a stretch double for most people is a stand-up double for that kid. And
yeah, exactly.
And it's so weird to watch him run because it just does not look like, you know, you would think that at his legs there would just be a blur of legs going back and forth. But I mean, it's kind of almost like in slow motion. But then all of a sudden he's at second base.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What? You know, what happened?" So I don't know.
No, he kind of glides.
I know.
But no, but I mean that. But like I said, they were even talking about his speed, and it doesn't surprise me when Rob said an infield single. So you don't see that very much.
That's tough to do. I'm gonna tell you, that is tough to do.
But was there any other topics, Kenny, that you want to get into?
Before because I can't really stay too long, but the last one was I was wanting to talk about what y'all think about and I've been following recruiting for you know, for really since going back to, I didn't really start actually following it big time until I want to say either 2002, 2003. I can't really remember what year, but it was whenever they got Adrian Peterson. I may be too far ahead, but when they got Adrian Peterson and they got Red Bone one of the year, that's really kind of following and seeing how it all worked. But I kind of wanted to know what are y'all thoughts on like the recruiting that's, you know, I guess you can say since Lincoln Riley has come in, not just as the head coach, but you know, when they hired him as offensive coordinator. What y'all think about the uptick in recruiting over the past few years, including this year?
I think it's insane. And, you know, me and Rob have said it before, you know, we follow recruiting, but it's not like, you know, not like a lot of the guys do, and then especially the guys like that get to do it for a living, But I'm the type of fan that you'd hear like back in the day you heard about Adrian Peterson, and you'd kind of look and see about it, not really follow it. But now that we started this podcast, it's kind of like, oh hell, we gotta start paying attention to this.
Yeah.
And obviously there was an upkick in the recruiting when Riley got there. I mean, on the offensive and so on, and then we've talked about it before. Bob Stoops and probably the University of Oklahoma was a genius in how they did all this stuff with his retirement. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know that necessarily that it was planned exactly, but it was planned perfectly because Bob Stoops left in the middle of summer. Okay. If he would have retired at the end of the year last year, it would have killed the recruiting class. Okay. It would have put all this other, not undue pressure on Lincoln. So he leaves it with one of the best recruiting classes that they've had in a while. And not only that, one of the better teams they've had in a while. And they just finished building a multi-billion-dollar facility.
Facilities second to none, I promise you. Facilities are second to none.
Handing the keys. And so I think with his personality, and the planning that was put into this, I think, like I said, I don't think they sat down at the end of last season, but everybody knows that, and Bob has even said it, there was a point in time where he said, this is the guy to take over for me. So when he found that guy to replace him, he put the ball in rolling, and it wasn't an accident that he did, because he knew if he did it any other way, it was going to hurt the program. Because had he resigned and this is just all my speculation, but if he had resigned in January, or February, it'd have killed the recruiting class. Coaches could have gone and found other jobs that said, you know what, I came here to coach with Bob,
Yeah, I don't think anybody was saying that.
Yeah, but they didn't have a chance to, because Bob resigns in, what was it, June or July? And nobody's hiring coaches at that point in time. Everybody's staff is full. So they had nowhere to go. So it was, okay, well, we've got to stay here. And now look what they're in. They're in with some of the best recruiting classes, and probably what may end up being the best recruiting class in the history of recruiting if he keeps doing what he's doing. And when we had
guys keep from decommitting.
Yeah, but we had Brandon Drum on, who does all the recruiting, and people that he talks to who's done this for years said they've never seen a day like what OU had on their spring day. It has never happened before. That many people just go, that's it, I'm done. This is my team. And
I was that day that happened, because I was on vacation or getting ready to head off on a cruise, and my phone was just blowing up. DOE's just committed. Well, first it was RJ Henderson. RJ Henderson just committed. I thought, oh, okay. I was kind of expecting that, hopefully. And then DOE's committed. I said, oh, okay. And then, of course, then the ball started rolling from there, and I'm just like, I don't think I've ever seen this. Like I told you guys, I've been following recruiting for a while, and I've never seen a day like at least a weekend like that, ever. That was some major fireworks. And you talk about Twitter just being on fire.
Oh, yeah, it was nuts. It
was nuts.
But I still stand on this, okay? He's done the recruiting part of it. Obviously, this guy can recruit, okay? And he's bringing in this stuff, and he's going to continue to bring in now, okay? And he's got a coaching staff that has stayed. They realize, I'm carrying on my thesis here, or my deal of these guys are like, well, we were really one play away from the national championship, last year. They're not going anywhere. We lost Schmitty. Yeah, it was a big loss, but that was the only loss in the coaching staff that we really had. If unless I don't think I'm mistaken.
And we didn't lose him because of a coaching change.
No, they offered him a buttload of money, and he went, yeah, sure. But, now he's getting in this class, and I've always said, I I'm excited about Lincoln, but I want to know where we're at in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I think we're going to be right where we're sitting at right now. I don't think it's going to drop off, but that's going to be the tell. You know, we've said this before, and I'm not comparing him to John Blake, but John Blake was a hell of a recruiter. I mean, people forget he brought Roy, Roy Williams. Yeah, he recruited Roy Williams. He recruited a lot of those kids that were there when Stoops got here. Rocky Kalmus. You know, he could recruit. He just, you know, couldn't coach a 5th grade team, apparently. So, you know, that's the key, you know, is now he's got all this talent. Now, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be able to coach it up? You know, make it what everybody's expecting it to be. That's, you know, I think he's doing a phenomenal job in recruiting, but it's going to be, you know, we're all going to sit here and we can talk about all these recruits that we want. If they don't win anything, we're going to be bad mouthing them in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so that's my only deal. I think he's doing a great job so far. I mean, he did get us to the, semifinals, the playoffs. I personally think anything short of that this year is probably going to be a disappointment because of what he has coming back. So he's got a lot of pressure, but that's why he took the job. You know, you don't come to Oklahoma, you know, to be an average program. You come to Oklahoma to win championships, and the school demands it, and the fan base demands it.
Exactly. I mean, you know, that's what OU's about. It's about winning championships.
Yeah.
You know, and if you ain't trying to do that, then you can go somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, and I believe that, and this is not. I'm not saying it derogatory. We are one of the meanest fan bases, I think, in the country. You know.
How so?
Okay, here. My dad, God rest his soul. Okay, he raised me a Sooner fan. My dad was the type of guy that when Barry Switzer lost 2 games, wrote him a personal letter. We didn't have emails back then. Okay, and mailed him a letter telling him, you know, how ridiculous it is for you to lose. I mean, that's our fan base. You know,
yeah.
I mean, it is. If you're not winning, we ain't happy. And you know, Gary Gibbs is a great, you know, example of that. We didn't have bad teams. He just couldn't beat Texas and Nebraska. You know, that's the whole reason why he got fired. He
like, hey, you can't beat these teams. I mean,
yeah,
we can find somebody else that can do it.
Right.
Well, 9-3 is not acceptable here. It's just not.
I mean, it's funny. It's true and everything because, like, I tell people too. I'm like, man, you know, OU whips off the 8-4, 9-3 season. That's just unacceptable.
Yeah, that's a losing season to us.
Yeah. And it goes to the fact if you think about this is before they let hypo and stuff go. You know, we had all that talent back, and we thought that, you know, coming off the Super Bowl win, this could be a really good season. And then, of course, we go 8 down or whatever the record was, and get embarrassed in the bowl game.
Yeah,
it's just like that. I got on Facebook, and I try not to rant on social media. I really try to keep that stuff just, you know, off that platform, and I, you know, talk to people or whatever. But that was probably the first time that I got on there and I just went off. I called for everybody to get fired. I mean, watching the entire season. I mean, it just was like there's no reason why we're, especially on offense. There's just no reason why we're this bad. And then it just compounded my things, and I just went off. But yeah, like I said, I'm in agreement with y'all with the, you know, with as far as the fan base. I mean, you know, you go 8-5. That may be okay at another school, but here, no, you can't do that.
Well, if you want to do something fun on Facebook, are you on any of the Sooner fan pages? You know, there's a bunch of them, but you know the Sooner fan pages.
I'm on a few, but I mean, heck, I'm on Twitter mostly now than I am Facebook.
No, if you want to see something blow up Facebook on that page, go on, do it tonight and see what happens by tomorrow morning, and type in, you know, something like, you know, Mike Stoops, you know, has been a good coach. You know, Is there something, is his year? I think his year is going to be better this year. What do you know? Does anybody think that? And watch what happens. Oh my God! Anything you put on Facebook about Mike Stoops is followed by fire Mike Stoops, and these people are writing, articles right there on the Facebook page. Everything else you can put on there about OU, they like it because we post stuff, cross post stuff all the time off of our Facebook page, and anything that has to do with Mike Stoops is the one that has 10,000 views and 65 comments. Okay. It's like, oh my God. I mean, just say, and just say anything about Mike Stoops and just watch it just take off. And I understand it. Yeah, I understand it. I mean, we're all ticked off about the defense, but yeah, I'm also Rob and I think we both try to be realist. He's the defensive coordinator still. So, when the season rolls around and we start if we look like crap again, or we're 10 yards off the ball, or we're doing 3-man rushes on 3rd and 12.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm going to be we're going to be yelling at the TV. But
yeah, exactly.
But he's what we got now. So
yeah, right. I was telling somebody, I was like, look, it is what it is. We could sit up here and go on a big rant about him all day long, but he's starting to get some players now.
Yeah.
And so we're I think some people, the people that want to, kind of give him a pass a little bit, says, well, they don't really have much talent. Let's see what he can do with better talent. That's all right. Well, they brought in some positives, especially on the defensive line in this last year's class. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out just, a lot about him. And if we're still, like you said, still seeing 2 years off the ball, rush 3 guys on 3rd and 12, or the infamous run a 4-3, but really we're still rushing 3 guys.
Yeah.
Still see that same message. I mean, you think the Fire Stoops chance allowed now, they're going to get even worse.
Oh yeah. And me and Rob have said it before. We don't want to be a Texas Tech team. We're just going to outscore you. Back when Leach was there, we're not going to have a defense. We're going to score 75 points and keep you to 70. We're going to get the ball last, and we're going to score last, and we're going to win the game.
Score update.
Yeah.
Yep. Score.
Sooners 7. Kansas State nothing.
Another infield single yet? Rob. Huh? He's sitting right here with headphones on, and I ask him a question, and he's it's like I'm not even on the same page. Wow. He's got his eyes on the TV. Any more infield singles, I said.
No.
Okay. Well, man, hey, Kenny, we appreciate you coming on. We're going to go ahead and shut it down for the day, and because I only had one plate of spaghetti, and I'm still hungry. So
go for it. Go for it. Eat it all.
We're going to go finish up some more spaghetti. Glad you came on with us. We hope you had a good time, and we're going to do it again.
Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed having you on.
And
no problem.
Just so everybody knows, our list is filling up. We've got other Sooner fans coming on. Jim Dillingham. We got Blinken Riley going to be on.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be great.
Yeah. the Angry Sooner is going to be on.
Yes, I know him.
Yeah, the real Christopher Long is going to be on. We've got a bunch, and then we've lined out today our first female Sooner, lady Sooner fan.
Yeah.
Sooner Lisa is going to come on, and we're going to fit her into the schedule. So.
Okay, so I've read a bunch of her blogs. Man, that girl is funny, witty. I'm telling you. You should go check her out. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, and guess what? She's also a Steelers fan. Right. Yeah, she's a huge Steeler fan too, so that'll be fun too. But yeah, we've got a lot of people lined up, and we appreciate everybody who's shown interest in coming on. And Kenny, we appreciate you coming on, and we will do it again. We'll get through a round of people, and then we're going to start inviting people back on, and we got some cool stuff we hope planned, or what we think is cool, planned for when the season starts.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah,
really.
if we think it's cool. Yeah.
Hey, that's true. Hey, that's all
Yeah,
that matters.
so-
Well, you think it's cool, man. That's
Yeah,
all.
but we got some some stuff coming up. But it was fun. You know your stuff, and it was we had a good time talking with you, and we'll do it again. All right, buddy.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Just let me know.
All right. Well, that's it for us at the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Boomer Rob
Boomer Terry.
and Boomer Kenny.
Boomer!
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com. Click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.